But first, it was the star treatment for a man once thought to be a murderer.
Michael Morton is the subject of a new documentary telling the story of his wrongful conviction in the death of his wife. It's called An Unreal Dream, the Michael Morton story. It premiered tonight at South by Southwest. Earlier, I had the opportunity to sit down with Morton and the film's director.
Literally, I think it's akin to people keeping photo albums. And they have little snapshots of different events. And this is just one photo album.
Ever modest, ever pensive, Michael Morton admits his is a story that needed to be told in this format, so people keep talking about it. And he hopes the legal community shown seeking the truth is always worth the effort. The 90-minute film goes on an emotional journey of how one man's life was torn apart when his wife, Christine, was found murdered. A Williamson County jury convicted Morton in 1987, but it was nearly 25 years before a re-examination of the case with the help of new DNA evidence exonerated him.
I remember from my childhood receiving letters.
Film also talks about Morton's curtailed relationship with his son, who was 3 when he was sent away.
It's another way of trying to get people's attention, not to make myself popular, but to remind them that their lives could go off the rails real quickly, real badly.
The documentary's director, longtime Texas journalist Al Reinert, says this kind of story just can't be made up.
As a journalist, you're supposed to keep some objective distance from your stories, and that was just about impossible in this case.
Even those at South by Southwest in line to see the documentary say Morton's story of survival needs to be put on a very public stage.
I think there's a need for it. I think a lot of people really don't understand what he's been through and what anybody else could end up going through.
It's along the lines of seeing someone like Nelson Mandela, who spent years in prison.
Now, after the South by tents are torn down, there's another showing of An Unreal Dream, the Michael Morton story, next Saturday at the Topher Theater on South Lamar. And in a coincidence, another happy occasion for Morton, he was married this Saturday to a longtime family friend. Morton says he reconnected with wife Cynthia after he was released from prison. Now, as for the former prosecutor in the case, as we go in depth on this, District Judge Ken Anderson says, or rather he is waiting the decision of a court of inquiry into whether he withheld evidence that would have kept Morton out of prison. Testimony in that ended early last month. The inquiry judge will determine if there's enough evidence to charge someone with a crime, whether they're guilty or innocent. Anderson is being investigated also by the state bar in the Morton case. If they find he broke the law, he could lose his law license.